Hello, YouTube followers. Today I'm going to talk about motivation, meditation, and inspiration. If it's not one of the three, I don't want it. So today my motivation is going to be about continuing to remember that when we utilize our hand-eye coordination, we have the ability to grow. So one of the ways that we grow is through learning, and one of those places that we learn is in school. So one of the things that you'll notice when you go to a classroom is that you're going to need to take notes, you're going to need to study, you're going to need to learn how to do this, whichever task this is at hand that you're going to do. You're going to need to learn how to write it down and how to put it out there in a way in which when you choose to actually do it, you have studied it. So part of utilizing and organizing the way in which you study is very important to how we grow. So one of those ways that we've learned to grow is through giving ourselves the ability to write stuff down, giving ourselves the ability to read about the subject that we're looking to do, giving ourselves the ability to continue to work on that subject and to utilize all angles of the subject. Now, I do understand that a lot of us feel like this situation or that situation is affecting us and giving us the ability to not continue to grow. Now, that is a very big mistake, because when you give yourself the ability to grow from within you, the strength and the reflection shows on the outside. So when you're motivated enough to learn from different angles how to do the things that you look forward to do, it helps you to become the strongest reflection of who you are inside, and that's how you become an expert, by focusing on one task at a time. So one of those places where the energy gets set for the hand and eye is in what's known as the depth perception. Depth perception is attached to the purple energy field, and that is a place of motivation. So when we see and we give ourselves the ability to write stuff down, and we give ourselves the ability to understand that all the pieces of ourselves are important, we start to see and we start to recognize that the person we are inside is growing on a constant basis. As we continue to motivate ourselves, we can look and study and utilize the time that we have at hand to utilize our hand-eye coordination to grow from within ourselves. That reflection will then turn into an external, and the strength inside of yourself will show as a reflection outwards. So what are some of the ways that we can do that? One of the ways that we can do that is by giving ourselves the ability to write stuff down. Ask yourself, what are you focused on? What is it that you want? How can I do this better? How can I learn how to become the best? And how can I focus on one thing at a time, so that way I can become the best in the field that I choose to focus on? So another way is study. Study the things that you would do and how the angles will work, and how you can use those, and how you can use them in the future, and where you are, so that you can become that greatest reflection of strength that you already have. How can I gain the knowledge to do this better? Okay, look at how you can study it and study others that have done it, so that you can become the best at it, so that when it's your time to execute, you can execute it and write stuff down. When you give yourself the ability to write down your goals, you give yourself the ability to have the upper hand. So that way, when you go back to look at it, you can also read this, and that hand-eye coordination will work for you when you're in the place utilizing the things that you have. So when we use the lessons that we've learned from inside of ourselves, and we allow them to become reflections on the outside of the strength that we have inside of ourselves, that's when we can ultimately grow. Utilizing these is a beautiful thing, and that is a great place of growth from within yourself with your hand-eye coordination. I have often said that the mind is the controller, the body is clay. So what your mind says your body can do, if you have enough strength inside yourself to become the reflection from the inside. Next, I'm going to talk about meditation. So we have an inhaling breath. Now, if we look at ourselves outside the classroom and we're preparing ourselves, so we're writing stuff down, we're giving ourselves the ability to prepare the place that we are. We're making sure that we have time each day and we're showing up. Very important part, showing up. Showing up no matter how you feel gives you the ability to continue to push yourself to become that greatest strength inside of you, which ultimately shows the reflection on the outside. Now, as we're preparing ourselves and we're realizing what it means to be strong inside of ourselves, that reflection will show on the outside. So the inhaling breath is the student. So the strength that we bring into ourselves is very important. That is an absorption of knowledge. The ability to grow from within ourselves is in your grasp of the ability to how well you can breathe in. Now, as you start to accept this content, you're going to find yourself in the same place as you're breathing in, and that great knowledge of the universe starts to come to you, and it starts to fan the fire inside yourself to open up the knowledge that you have inside of yourself to be able to learn from you. You have to organize that inhaling breath into the proper subjects. In the body, these subjects are called energy fields. These universal energy fields have different names. Lots of people like to call them chakras. Now, there are also energy fields which exist that are those subjects. So when you're utilizing the different subjects at hand, such as the depth perception or the purple energy field, you must realize that the student can also become stronger and absorb more from the inhaling breath. Now, next piece is being actually inside the classroom. One of the things that's very important is how you prepare yourself to be able to be the student inside the classroom. Now, the classroom is a still place, and that place is a place of growth from the inside, and that growth is a great thing. Sometimes you're going to feel the pains, just like as if a student was to be sitting at a chair for a long period of time. Now, as we allow the mind to overcome the body becomes clay to the mind. So that same student is able to sit in there for a longer period of time, and being able to grow from within ourselves is a great thing. Now, the last piece of meditation is the exhale. Now, the exhale is the teacher. The exhale gives you the ability to see where you are inside and to test yourself. One of the biggest places of becoming a teacher is making sure that you absorbed the content and that you understood the stories, the lessons, and everything that you're studying. That's why it's very important that we write stuff down, that we're organized, and we put ourselves in the proper place to absorb the best amount of knowledge possible. That's why there are chairs inside a classroom with a table to be able to write stuff down. That's why they say don't put phones in the classroom, so that you can focus and utilize and extract the most knowledge from the person you are inside. Now, with that exhaling breath, as you use this form, you will see that the strength inside of yourself is a great place to be. Learning from that lesson that you have inside of yourself teaches you. And one of the things that you can utilize is your hand-eye coordination. You can utilize your motivation and learn from yourself. So utilizing this and understanding that we are both the student, the classroom, and the teacher puts you in a place of great growth and enjoyment inside of yourself. With meditation, you have your inhale, your still breath, and your exhale. Looking at all angles finds the ability to understand that this universe is a great place for us all to grow in and to understand ourselves from. Meditation is not an individual. It is each reflection of the strength and the knowledge that we all have inside of ourselves to become great. That's why the body is clay to the mind. What you tell yourself you can become. Lastly, I'm going to talk about inspiration. So when we identified that we have the ability to enter the classroom, become the student, and utilize the absorption of knowledge, we find that there is a great place inside to grow. One of those such places to grow from is the ability to utilize the lessons that we have learned, utilize the things that we have done, and utilize the ability to understand that the person inside of ourselves is great knowledge, that the person we are inside of ourselves is great growth. So as we grow from inside of ourselves and the reflection shows outwards, we're going to have the ability to inspire other people to become the best reflection of themselves. The beauty inside of ourselves is something great. The fire inside of ourselves is something great. So inspire yourself to not allow yourself to be limited. Utilize all forms of knowledge to the best of your ability so that you can become the strongest reflection of the knowledge and focus utilizing that intersection which is known as discipline. The more disciplined one is, the greater one becomes. So the question is, how disciplined you can become. It's how much knowledge you have and how focused you can become on one thing to do one thing better than anyone else can. So when you know that the strength that you have inside yourself is great, you can become the strongest reflection. So the lessons that we have inside of ourselves are some of the most beautiful things. They are knowledge. They're crude. They're there for your self-growth. When we become the student, the classroom, and the teacher, we can inspire other people to become the student, the classroom, and the teacher. And the beauty inside of ourselves will show through as a reflection. Now, to learn from yourself is to pull yourself forward. Now, bring people with you. Help them to grow as well. Help them to learn how to see the beauty inside of themselves, that each lesson they've been through has made them great. Understanding that for each action there's an equal and opposite reaction. Newton's third law shows us that we can identify and that we can choose to focus our energy into the positivity, identifying that everything is happening is for our great knowledge inside of ourselves and great extraction to focus and become the student inside the classroom and to become the teacher at the same exact time. Pulling ourselves forward and constantly putting ourselves in a place to choose that the focus is going to be on the greatness inside of ourselves helps us to grow. Understanding that when you give more and you receive, and when you enjoy the totalness of organizing each subject inside of yourself, you have the ability to inspire other people to gain that strength inside of themselves to grow. That is a beautiful place. That is a beautiful growth. And it is not about somebody else. It's about each individual's knowledge, each individual's gifts, and the ability to focus on those gifts to the point where you become the best. We all are the best at something when we put our minds to it. When we allow the mind to make the body clay, the body will react in such a way that the beauty and the reflection will show from the inside of you. And we all need your gifts, and we all need your inspiration, and we all need everything that you have. Each of you has something special inside of yourself. If you're willing to apply yourself the ability to grow in that focus. It's not about what you don't have. It's about everything about what you have and how you use what you have to become the strongest knowledge and ultimately reflection of how you feel about yourself. For each action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. It's such a beautiful thing to identify. So to choose to utilize these energy fields inside of ourselves is so great. As I was in meditation, I found that Vocal meditation utilized with purple energy gave the ability for the hand-eye coordination to be enhanced from the depth perception through to the nervous system to fire off those nerves. I realize that at some time now or in the future they will be using the purple energy field to help the growth of nervous systems to grow from the strength that we have inside of ourselves to overcome things that they never thought would be possible. This is a very beautiful technology. It just depends on how willing you are to dive deep into yourself. I hope at some point they can utilize this energy to help other people who may have issues with their nervous systems and the stimulus between the brain and the body. The energy fields inside of ourselves are so special that even that subject is a place of inspiration. I want to inspire you all to grow from yourself and the lessons that you have learned and to become the strongest reflection of who you are inside. When you see the beauty inside of yourself, you will find the person that you are as great. I do hope that you all have a blessed day. As always, namaste.